every generation, a new batch of Pokemon is created, and the developers assign them a host of characteristics, including moves. Sometimes they create signature moves for them, and most often, the new moves of the generation complement the move pool of the new Pokemon. However, there are times when old moves are completely overlooked by Game Freak, even though they would fit certain species perfectly. Therefore, we're going to create a non-exhaustive list of these tailor-made moves for certain Pokemon, which for one reason or another, they cannot use. Let's go! Scrafty and Sucker Punch. Despite being a dark and fighting type, Scrafty cannot learn a dark type move. It's even more baffling when this move is supposed to be a sneaky attack done from behind. The perfect attack for thugs and hooligans, which is what this Pokemon represents, given its gangster Pokemon category. Garbodor and Gunk Shot. I know it's aesthetically one of the ugliest Pokemon, and that's somewhat one of its main characteristics. We're talking about trash here, but while its physical attack is its best base stat, it cannot learn a good poison stab move, an insult to this Pokemon, in addition to its appearance. Lunatone and Surf. This applies to Cresselia and Lunala as well, Pokemon associated with the moon, for the simple reason that the moon affects the tides, which is a variation in the height of sea and ocean levels, just like the wave and surf. Moreover, it would enhance the symmetry with Solrock, Lunatone's twin Pokemon from Ruby and Sapphire, which can learn Flamethrower. Additionally, Solrock learns Solar Beam, just like Groudon, but since Generation 7, there exists Solar Blade, its physical equivalent, a move it should be able to utilize, especially Groudon given its attack stats. Zangoose and Cut. It's somewhat dramatic that this Pokemon cannot learn this HM, especially since it can learn Scratch, Hone Claws, Fury Swipes, X-Scissor, and even Slash. All attacks meant for slicing, so it doesn't make much sense. And meanwhile, Pokemon like Umbreon or Lickitung can perfectly cut down a shrub. Newsleaf and Grass Whistle. One of its Pokédex descriptions is clear. This Pokemon uses the leaf on its head to play a flute. The sound of the flute frightens and unsettles people lost in the forest. So for the love of Arceus, why can't this Pokemon use this grass-type move, especially since it could be interesting for it to put its opponents to sleep in battle? Unfortunately, this move no longer exists since Generation 8. Lugia and Hurricane. Again, just look at Lugia's Pokédex descriptions to realize that with its wings, a flying-type attribute, it can destroy small houses, cause storms lasting 40 days, and that's why it hides at the bottom of the oceans. So, it wouldn't be far-fetched for it to learn this stab move. Fortunately, starting from Generation 8, Hurricane becomes a technical record, and Lugia can finally learn it, but it's several generations too late. Suicune and Aurora Veil. We're literally talking about the Aurora Pokemon, and it can indeed learn an Ice-type move with the same theme, Aurora Beam. We're still talking about a legendary Pokemon that can learn Psychic-type moves, so this kind of mystical feat should be within its reach. Zarude and Sandstorm. Garchomp and Dragon Dance, even if it would make the Pokemon completely overpowered strategically, and in that sense, I understand why it shouldn't learn it. It's still a dragon. It seems capable of dancing. It's a move made for it. Garchomp should also be able to use Fly. It's seen flying in the anime, and it's mentioned in some Pokédex descriptions. Luminion and Quiver Dance. To be honest, it's not a very powerful Pokemon, but the animal species it's based on is the butterfly fish. It would benefit from boosting its stats with this move, so please Game Freak, help it out. Crocodile and Rapid Spin. This also applies to Feraligatr because basically, when a crocodile kills its prey, it spins around. It's even mentioned in Crocodile's Pokédex description. This Pokemon crushes its prey, which is the goal of the maneuver, and strategically, it would even be interesting for these Pokemon to be able to remove entry hazards. Zigzagoon and Quick Attack. Knowing that it and its evolution are very fast, normal-type Pokemon, it would have made sense. By the way, Lanoon learns Extreme Speed. Very useful with Belly Drum, so this isn't about balance here. Drowsy and Dream Eater. With its evolution Hypno, we know these Pokemon for their ability to eat dreams, which is precisely a Psychic-type move. And if with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, it finally recovers the move, it has since been forgotten, as it doesn't appear in Sword and Shield, and in the Generation 4 remakes, they can no longer learn it. And there are still plenty of Pokemon, for reasons you'll find obvious. Lickitung and Lick, Primarina and Hyper Voice, Black Kyurem and Ice Punch, Blaziken and Triple Kick, Snorlax and Slack Off. By the way, what do you think deserves to be on this list? It's an open debate, so feel free to share your opinion in a comment. I feel like every Pokemon should have a move it doesn't currently possess. In any case, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon. Au revoir.